First up, we have KJ, the activist, who is known for her passionate viral video where she faces off with the Kansas Board of Police Commissioners. She's here to tell us about her epic moment that swept the nation that we all could not stop talking about, and how she's adjusting to life since becoming a viral sensation, and more importantly, her continued fight for justice. And later on the show, we're talking to the star of Love and Hip Hop Miami and Afro-Latina queen, Amara La Negra. Right now, please welcome KJ, the activist, to the show. Hello. Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh my God, I have been dying to talk to you since I first saw the video, like most of the world. First of all, we're gonna get into all of that, but how are you doing? I want to just do a check-in with you. How are you doing with all that's going on in this world?
I'm maintaining, like, I feel like that's the general consensus of the world right now, because a lot of people forget that, like, amongst the social unrest, we're still in a global pandemic. So we're all just trying to figure out what the next stage is. We're kind of feeling apprehensive with the Biden Harris transition into the White House. So just maintaining and, waiting it out, just waiting to see what's gonna happen next in this chapter of 2020. This has been a crazy year.
Girl, yes. So let's just jump into, I want you to tell us how you got your start in activism and who were some of your influencers and mentors in the movement.
I got my start in activism. Well, I'd always been like known in high school as that Black radical girl. So like when everyone was talking about One Direction and everything, I was talking about Tamir Rice. So it's not like it's anything new. But I got my formal start in activism this past summer after I met other young Black people who are active participants in the Black radical tradition in Kansas City. And we just got together and we started organizing protests, community grocery buybacks, voter registration, census outreach, etc. So that's kind of how I got my official start in activism. But I had always been this way. Like I always felt this way. I always have been so blunt, especially when it's regarding Black liberation and Black people. So a lot of people who I went to high school with had to run me my credit even before all of this happened. And we're like, we're sorry we didn't get it back then, but we get it now, And I'm like, yeah, I know you didn't get it, but Black women are always right.
I'm a few years older than you, probably about 25 years older than you. And back in college, I was part of the Black Student Alliance back in the day when the Rodney King verdict came out. And this was 1991, 92. And was active in a predominantly white school. So we had a fight. So I so relate to your spirit with people telling you you're being probably, I'm sure you're getting called all kind of things. You're too militant, you're too this, you're too that. But it's just because you're making them uncomfortable and calling out the bullshit. And
yeah,
were you ever nervous about it? Because I got a call from the Klan. I'm sure I saw online that people have been bothering you and affecting you. And not affecting you, I'm sorry, coming for you and trying to get to you.
Yeah, I don't really care. A lot of people have that misconception that because I posted that the police were following me, that it kind of emotionally impacted me. I really can't say it did much because I'm making a conscientious effort for it not to. I know that I'm on the right side of history. I know that what I'm doing is right. I know that regardless of how the police feel about me, how the white supremacists feel about me, I'm on the right side of history. So I kind of stand in that vindication of knowing that at the end of the day, I'm right and they're wrong and time will tell. And in 50 years, hopefully they'll, catch up and see that they're wrong. But until then, I feel vindicated. I don't feel nervous. I don't feel apprehensive. I was doing cop watch in Kansas City for a while where I would just monitor traffic stops, and I get pretty close because, like I said, I don't really care. I'm not there for the police. I'm there for the Black people to make sure that they're all right. But people would be like, how aren't you fearful to just go up there and say that? I'm like, fear gets us nowhere. Being fearful has never helped any situation. So, and I know the law and they know I know the law and I know that they can't touch me. So I just kind of stand in that vindication.
Well, actually, the fact that you are a Black woman that has no fear, they're actually, and knows the law, they're the ones that should actually be in fear. Speaking of that, now you addressed the Kansas City Board of Police Commissioners, and that video went viral, and it was the most perfectly put together read I done seen, and it filled with facts. Let's take a look.
Because Kansas City will spend more on police than education and then try to encourage children to feast with their oppressors. Y'all are really weird. It's asinine to be called radical or homegrown terrorists for not wanting government employees to kill citizens in any instance. So I'm not here begging anything of soulless white folks and self-preserving Black folks. You get one life, and you all in this room have chosen profits over people, and that's pathetic. So I'm going to spend the next 2 minutes reading y'all for a filth, something I'm sure nobody has ever done.
I can watch that over and over again. So what prompted you to go straight to the police board meeting and set them straight?
I worked for a civil rights organization as a project manager and executive assistant at the time. So we had all kind of gotten together and planned to go, and they were like planning speeches and things like that. I wasn't anticipating on speaking until I got there. And then I just kind of saw how they limited public comment and how only 25 members of the public could be there. Meanwhile, there was like 47 officers in there standing up. I just didn't like the energy in the room. So I really wrote that whole speech while I was sitting down, waiting for my turn to speak, as a lot of the people who were there were kind of like respectable, and it was just really irritating me. Like, we don't have to tell them good morning. We don't have to tell them thank you for this opportunity to speak. They're sitting in our chairs, speaking into our microphones under our lights. So I don't really feel the need to address public officials in that manner. It's ours. And when people realize that and we start to take that power and stand in that power, then things will start to change. So I just kind of went from that mindset of like, I'm not here to coddle them. I'm not here to tell them, thank you for the $2 million that you're taking away from Kansas City Police Department, because that $2 million is nothing when they have $271 million extra dollars to go and terrorize Black people with. So I just went from that mindset, and I just wrote that speech then and there from, I'm not here to be nice. I'm not here to coddle them. So, yeah.
So you went there. I just want to get this perfectly correct. You went there to listen, to just sit, to be there, and didn't have the intention, didn't have a speech written out, didn't have all the stuff compiled. You just got there, reacted to what the BS you saw, and put that speech, read. I want to give it the right word that gives it enough weight for what you did. I don't want to be disrespectful what you did. That was I don't even know what that was. It was epic. So you just put that all together. So you knew all the backstory on everybody there when you put that speech together. It's not.
Yeah. I had a Google document of like we as citizens, we have the right to know our public officials. So I make an effort to know who's in office, to know who's controlling me. And I'm not saying this in a threatening manner at all. Like, I know their addresses, I know their jobs, I know everything about the BOPC as I'm sure they know everything about me. So it's just about knowing your oppressor. So I already had all of that information compiled. So it was just a matter of, plugging it in. But yeah, I sat in the audience and I literally just wrote that. Just mainly fueled by like irritation, if I'm honest, just irritation at their reactions, because a lot of the members were like nodding, just waiting for people to shut up essentially. And then a lot of the people were just, so apprehensive. Like one guy, I don't know him from a campaign. He got up there, he mumbled 2 words, and he went like right back to his seat as if he was kind of scared. And that just kind of irritated me, because I'm like, we have to live in fear every day as Black people. The least we can do is go up here and put some respect on our ancestors and, say what they couldn't or kind of didn't have our privilege to say. So I just went from there and it worked out.
It sure did. Listen, KJ, I want to read some comments. We have some YouTube comments for you. We're happy to see KJ on the show. We love to hear her thoughts on the cops. I'm glad people are joining forces to fight racism. You were speaking from the heart. And let me see this some more here. Thomas says, thank you for not being a sellout, KJ. But a lot of comments for you. Just be very, they're going nuts for you right now. And I want to talk about your activism, has led you to being named one of Teen Vogue's 21 under 21. How does that feel to receive that type of mainstream recognition? And I'm actually impressed that, I don't want to say impressed, but I do like the change in times that these mainstream media outlets, they cannot no longer ignore people that they once would call radical, and that's too much. And they gotta, you know what I mean? Like that alone is a step in the right direction. But how does that feel to be recognized for what you did?
It feels great. It feels nice, like just to be recognized and acknowledged, and mainly to be able to kind of put a national spotlight on what happens in Kansas City, as a lot of the victims, they don't receive $1 million settlements from the city. They don't have $1 million GoFundMe's. They kind of go and their families are kind of left in shambles as a result. So I was just happy to draw attention to our national victims. And, it always feels good when people kind of reaffirm what you've already known about yourself. Like I kind of had this feeling for a long time that like I was meant for greater. So it's kind of amazing to see not only Teen Vogue, but, I'm happy when any Black publication, I'm happy to be on here. So I kind of honor our siblings who have more to say about me than I would like a national syndication or anything like that, or Teen Vogue. But I'm happy for anything. It means a lot to me that people recognize that in me.
Where does this come from with you? Were your parents like this? People in your family are people that you roll with, or are you an anomaly amongst your people?
Yeah, I'm an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like my mom, she's into like makeup and hair, and like she was really interested when I did a pageant. Like she's more of a like pageant type of mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an older brother. He's more into like sports. So I was kind of an anomaly in my family, but my mom like always made sure I watched in middle school. I was the anomaly in middle school, because every day after school I would go home and Katie Kirk was on at 3:00. I would watch Katie, or I think she was on at 4. I would watch Katie at 4, our local news at 5, ABC World News with Diane Sawyer at 6, Inside Edition at 7, and Entertainment Tonight at 8. Like it was like a routine for like an 11-year-old. So I was always like the kid in my class who was up to date on main events, and it made me kind of cynical, but it made me have like a really broad perspective about issues, and kind of realize that life isn't just justice and Justin Bieber and Aeropostale. It made me kind of wake up to what's going on in the world, and it's sad that I had to have that realization and kind of go from there. But I'm happy, as long as my children don't have to be out here 20 years from now, then I'm happy that I kind of had to sacrifice my childhood and my 20 years to do this. But yeah, I don't really mind.
KJ, I don't know you except from what I've seen, but I am so proud of you as a fellow Black woman. Like I love to hear this. I love what you stand for. I'm a nerd. I'm that chick that was reading encyclopedias in the 80s. And then somewhere along the way, we got away from like embracing like intelligence. It seemed like it was cool to dumb yourself down. And I think Black people are so much better. We're not all doing that, but there's a segment of us that does do that. And I just want to say, like, I love, love, love what you stand for. And I really hope like we could do as much as we can to like really, broadcasting this. I hope more people are inspired and to kind of follow in your footsteps, because you are a amazing young woman. And I'm not blowing smoke. Like I am a super fan of what you stand for. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to KJ about the response she's gotten and why she decided to call out a popular rapper. Stay tuned for more Out Loud on Fox Soul when we return. We're back with Out Loud with Claudia Jordan. Now, Soulmates, if you want to see more Fox Soul content, you can go to www.foxsoul.tv or download that Fox Soul app, or watch us on your smart TVs on Fox Now, Fire TV, Roku, YouTube, Apple TV, Zumu, Tubi, or Caffeine.tv. I am one with the one and the only, this woman who is going to change the trajectory of the youth and the things that they are focused on. Y'all need to be like KJ, okay? KJ the activist. Again, I was fawning over her before we went to break and during the break because I love what she's doing. I want to ask you what the response has been for you since it's been viral, and who are some of the celebrities that have reached out? Because I see a whole bunch of people that I follow rocking with you now. So how's that? Like, tell us.
Yeah, it's been great. Like, I got amazing responses. The first like major person I can recall hitting me up was Busta Rhymes. So like I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning after it went viral, and I just couldn't sleep. Like I was just really restless because my phone was buzzing, so I had to put it on airplane mode. But I was checking my DMs. But Kevin Gates hit me up. It was like, yes, Lord, and and then that just that was really nice. But like my favorite person who has hit me up is like SZA, because it's crazy, because literally when I was like a junior in high school, like I was going through a breakup, in high school, and then I used to just be riding around Kansas listening to Supermodel, like that boy's gonna regret this, and he's so, and then to like kind of be able to be in community with people who you've always admired. And I never admired anyone for like their status or anything, but like the art that they produce, and just kind of what they exemplify. Like Chance the Rapper hitting me up meant a lot to me, because he's kind of always exemplified like not a good image, but like someone who can have duality and rap and still do good in the community and show up for his community. So that's what really invigorated me, was like people who I've always looked up to kind of recognizing me.
I love SZA. She's been on the show as well. So have y'all kept in touch, or she just reached out when she saw the video?
Oh yeah, she answers, like she keeps in touch, which I greatly appreciate, because I saw a lot of like people kind of posting, and then they're like, all right, boom, like have a good life, hope you don't get sniped by the police.
No.
Like
I think it's funny that the people that you were fans of are all fans of you now, and
it's crazy.
you deserve it though. You do. That's real talk. And SZA's good people, so I'm not surprised that she's kept in touch. She's solid. So what kind of response have you gotten from the Kansas City, Missouri Police Board? How about them? Are they in their feelings still?
They were definitely in their feelings after the video, but like one thing that I will say about Kansas City that's different from other cities, whereas like other cities have activists and after a while they're able to get somewhere, we kind of do a lot of stuff in vain. Like a lot of our efforts, I can't even count on 2 hands and 2 feet the amount of protests I've been over the summer, and we haven't really gotten a lot of substantial change. So our main thing was trying to gain national attraction, just trying to let people know what's happening in Kansas City, as we are smack dab in the middle of the country, and people don't really think of Kansas City as a violent place aside of our homicide rate, but we have a dangerous amount of police violence. I think we're ranked 10th in the nation. So they were kind of nervous after we started getting national attention that wasn't revolving around Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, which I was kind of oblivious to, because I thought like I called them out all the time. Like I called the mayor out all the time. Like he texted me in that meeting and was like, I almost missed you back there. It's nice to see you. Like just to start off good, like just to have a good rapport with me. But I'm sure they were angry. I'm not sure how they feel now. They kind of closed off public comment due to COVID. So we can't even go inside of the BOPC meeting anymore.
So with all this national attention, they've made no changes.
Yeah, no, none at all.
So
Kansas City is the only city in America that does not have a local control of the police department. Our police department is controlled by the governor, who lives like a good 4 hours away from Kansas City. And being on the BOPC means that you kind of have control over it, but it's an appointed position. So people have to either be voted out or appointed in. So it's really hard, especially when they don't have to be transparent. They don't have to release anything that they don't want to. They don't have to charge officers. Like when I was arrested twice back in late September, and twice in 1 week. And I was searched by male officers after specifically requesting female officers. And then people were like, oh, file a report because our white ally was arrested twice too, and she got a female officer every time. And I was like, file a report against the man who I've been saying fire Chief Rick Smith all summer, because he has the power to either invalidate or substantiate my claim. So it's all self going around, and it's just a really messed up situation to be in.
You can't police yourself. You cannot police yourself. Like, that's just not so a male officer searched you 2 times.
Yes, both times I was arrested.
Violation.
Like, I was kind of used to being like, they had this thing where they would kind of antagonize us after we left. So instead of coming down, like, I currently have 2 charges pending, but instead of coming down and arresting us directly, they would wait until we were separate of everyone. 1, to stop us from recording, and 2, to, you know, kind of stop people from reacting or, you know, having that gut reaction to protect those around you. So I was arrested, like, away from people both times I was arrested. So, and they would just follow us, like, every time, just follow me onto the highway. Like, I got chased down on the highway, and they pulled me over and had like 4 officers just ready to take me, just to let me go after like 2 hours. So it's always been antagonistic.
Well, so what are you doing to protect yourself? Because I've been hearing, you know, you post on social media that they've been following you around and you're getting threatening messages. So what are you doing to protect yourself? Are you able to do anything?
I have security. I have a few security firms offering me protection. So I take that route. And then, you know, I've kind of not given up, but it's like, they're the American government. Like, they know everything about me. People were kind of suggesting me, like, move cities, change your phone number, get a new car, etc. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. I have to have a social security number to get all of that. And the second I beat a social security number into an apartment application or job application or any real application, they're going to know. So it's not like how I was explaining it to a friend of mine who is a rapper. Like, rappers can slide on their ops, as they say. Like, I can just slide on my ops. My ops work for the federal government. They know everything about me. There's no real such thing as sliding on them. There's no hiding from them. So, like, why not confront them in the system directly? So I'm not really in fear, because, you know, they'll do what they'll do, and then people will do what they do. So
that's a lot of pressure for such a young woman your age to have to deal with all of this. Like, that's a lot of pressure. I feel like a lot of weight is on you. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't be out there by yourself. Like, you need a whole coalition behind you. And listen, I'm sure you're going to get a lot more people hitting you up as this keeps going on. I didn't know there was no changes done since you brought all this attention. I also want to talk about you recently calling out hip hop artist Lil Baby for being politically active in front of the cameras, but silent when the cameras aren't rolling. Let's take a look.
We got people like Lil Baby dropping damn tracks and then dipping out, bro. Get to dip out back to their mansions, bro. That's what trips me out. Get to dip out back to their damn mansions, and we end up some damn hashtags and some damn memes and some damn t-shirts. Go right back to their mansions, bro. That's beyond me. I got it. That's beyond me, bro.
Tell us about that moment. And on a lighter note, people were like, "Did you ever get that juice open?" No, but that touched a lot of folks. When you tell us about that and how you were feeling.
I was mourning over the death of Travis Nagdy. He's a Louisville activist who's 21 years old, who was allegedly carjacked and killed on that day. So that's kind of where a lot of my frustration came from. Just kind of seeing how a lot of celebrities show up performatively, and they take the pictures, they hold the signs, you know, they shoot the music videos and record the songs and then leave. And, you know, once that attention is off of us in the movement, that leaves us even more susceptible to like violence. I knew that KCPD would never hurt me when CNN is calling me, asking me for an interview, Teen Vogue, like all that. I know, and I always knew that they would wait for the stardom to die down. They would wait for people to forget, and then make their move. So a lot of activists have fallen to that, where we kind of get all of this national attention and we feel like things are going to change, and then they wait for people to undoubtedly stop caring, stop showing up, for it to stop trending. And then that's when we're most susceptible to violence. So that's where a lot of my frustration came from. And I called out Lil Baby and Jack Harlow, and it wasn't because they were 2 people I just had on my mind. I went 2 Instagrams and I looked for rappers who were at protests or who made a song about a protest or who showed up, and then were kind of void of action. And I don't just speak from just to speak. I called activists in Louisville and was like, have you heard from or seen Jack Harlow? They were like, man, that nigga's been, or excuse me, he's been gone since June. He's been gone since June. So that's where that frustration about him came from. But we just always heard that song, It's Bigger Than Black and White, at every protest. So it just kind of stuck in my head. And I was just so hopeful that people will start to care, and it won't just be a trend. It won't just be a hashtag. It won't just be a moment. It'll be a movement. And then to kind of see celebrities kind of dissipate back into their, well, it has nothing to do with me now moment was just really disheartening. And that's what really prompted that live.
Wow. I mean, that's real talk. I remember all the attention that Ferguson got. And then, no one even talks about the countless activists that actually have been murdered since, Ferguson. It's not even a story anymore. Like, no one even talks about it. It's not cool anymore. It's not hip anymore. Like, it's next, on to the next. And you are absolutely right. We have a minute left. And I just want to ask you, does celebrities have a responsibility to speak up for social justice?
Yes, celebrities absolutely do have a responsibility to speak up for social justice. The main reason why we were able to get so much accomplished in the 60s was a collectivism. Like, we came together and decided that we're tired of having to sit on the back of the bus. So we're going to collectively come together and stop riding the bus, and we're going to starve them of money to where they have to acknowledge our humanity. People nowadays kind of take the stance of, if it doesn't have nothing to do with me, so I don't care. And we kind of see this in a lot of mainstream celebrities. They don't care. They can't relate to poor Black people anymore. They're not poor. They don't have to deal with that. So they kind of cut themselves off from us. When they hold the social capital, if the NBA and NFL both threatened, if all the players threatened to quit for 2 years until police stop killing Black people, imagine how fast police would stop killing Black people. Imagine how fast all of these police reforms would be passed. It would be a complete overhaul of our current system. But people kind of take this stance of like, well, they don't want to risk their money. Why not? What makes them better than me, who goes out and risks a job? Like, I kind of am forced in a situation where I have to stay in social justice work. I have to start a YouTube or something because I'm a paralegal student. No white law firm is going to hire me. So if I can go out with all of this vindication and still risk my future, why can't they? What makes them holier than thou? So until we get that collectivism spirit and until all hands are truly on deck, we're going to continue to see Black people die, and we're going to see the next hashtag, the next t-shirt, the next activist being killed, because people kind of have this self-preservation mindset that really needs to stop and end in 2020.
Period. Well, I'm calling out every single Black law firm out there that's out here. That's why that hears about this. This is who you need to be looking at. This is your future right here. KJ, you are, again, I've said this so many times, I'm a fan, and the comments, there's so many comments, and I'm sorry to the YouTube comments for not getting to all of them. They're saying you're the next Stacey Abrams, very strong Black woman. Candace Owens, you just sit and learn from KJ. I mean, there's a ton of comments for you that have your back, that support you. Please let us know in the future if there's any way we can promote what you're doing, how we can help you out and get your message out there. You always have a place here. You always have a platform here at Foxhole, and that's real talk. I'm gonna give you my information so you can, anytime you need to, you can hit me directly. And real quick, how can we support the work that you're doing for the community?
You can go to my Instagram at kjg.brks. I'm currently shadow banned, so you'll have to type it in completely. And if you just kind of share and like and comment my content, it is completely shadow banned. I'm not even reaching 10% of the people that, I've only been popular for a month. So I gained over like 330,000 followers, and I'm not even reaching 10% of that because I'm so shadow banned. I've been in conversations with Instagram about it, but kind of circulating content and engaging with it always helps get the message out to more people. It's just kind of disheartening that these big platforms make a conscientious effort to silence Black people and to silence this movement. But, we ball anyway, so.
They absolutely do this to Black activists, and it's a very real thing. We need to do a show on that, on shadow banning. We might have to do that. KJ, thank you so much. I want to thank KJ, the activist, for joining us tonight.